Hi, everybody. I am Sandy Sandler, the creator of the Bowdabra, and today I have an extra special guest. We have Nick Kratikos of Nick's Seasonal Decor. I'm really
Hi,
excited, and
everyone.
I know you guys love him.
Yes, I'm
So,
excited
Nick,
too. It's nice to be back.
it is great to have you. I love it. Now, are you guys doing next week as well,
I
Alex?
believe so.
I think
I think
so.
so,
Yeah,
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
next week as well.
cool. So we're going to give you, I'm just going to do a really quick overhead view of my table so you guys can see all the pretty hair bows that we made. And then we're going to go directly to Nick.
Perfect.
So aren't these so pretty? And then I made those really pretty bows here. Nick is going to take it away.
It's nice to be back. I feel like we were just live. It doesn't feel like that long ago to me.
It
So
doesn't.
it is nice to be back. We, of course, are going to be using our large Bowdabra right here. So let's get a close up on this. This is really cool because it squishes your ribbon together and it works as a third hand, keeping everything in place. Just took a length of wire. First things first, we're just going to fold that in half. So this looks like about, what, 14 inches on either side, about a 28-inch piece of wire. Then we're going to just simply place it on the top. See how there's that slit on the top? We're going to just place it on either side.
I cannot see comments, so I just want to let you know that.
Here is what the wire looks like that comes on a 100-yard spool. This is the gold. So usually I save the gold for Christmas, but over the last few months I've been using it year round. So I personally love the silver. So I love the silver because it works for everything, but in the end you're not going to see much of it anyway. First ribbon, so let's do funky. All right, so there's a couple of different ways to make this, and usually I show you guys both, but what the difference really is that you're either cutting them all in advance or you're cutting them as you go. So I typically cut as I go, but if you want to cut them all in advance, all you have to do is figure out how big of a bow you want. So this is the loop end, these are the tails. So if we pinch here, that is how big the loop will be, and if we separate the tails, that is how long the tails will be. So that looks like a good size bow to me. So let's take our scissors and cut it. And I've been using these scissors for a year and a half now, but the other day they were sitting in water for a bit. So they are a little bit rusty, so definitely keep your scissors away from water. So we're gonna cut a few of these in advance. I'm gonna show you guys that way of making a funky bow where you have all of the pieces pre-cut. And it really just depends on your preference. So if you're a beginner, I'd recommend just cutting them in advance so you're not having to kind of mess with the ribbon. But as you get the hang of bow making, you can definitely work these in one at a time. So they don't have to be perfect either. That is one thing. I feel like I've been stressing about that for years with you guys because all of us designers seem to have the same thought process and we're definitely perfectionists, but it's not going to matter in the end. If you're a couple inches off, it's still going to look pretty. I never go for perfection, and I used to when I first started out, and that drove me crazy. So you guys will come to realize that it's not really necessary at all to make a perfect bow. All right, so here's our final piece. We're going to use up the rest of this roll. We had a little bit left over, so we already made a beautiful wreath with this the other night, I think, the tulip wreath. So we were able to create two beautiful bows using it. So to work your ribbon in, just pinch where you want your loop. This is about a 3.5, 4-inch loop, give or take. Tail's about 5 to 6 inches, 6 to 8. We're going to just take that, our wire's already in place, and we're going to just simply place that into our Bowdabra. Joe just ordered the Bowdabra. Awesome. What we're going to do now is repeat that same process, but alternate. So since we have the loop on the right-hand side, or your left, we're going to place our loop on the other side. The only real thing that this is doing is just making it easier when it comes time to fluff. So when we start fluffing this bow out, it just makes it easier having the loops already on the sides that they should be on. But look, see this loop is a little bit smaller. We could either make this smaller or we could leave it as is. It's not really going to make a huge difference. We have two pieces left. So my rule of thumb with bow making, for certain seasons and holidays like Christmas and fall, I want more loops so that it looks fuller and richer. For spring and summer, I tend to use less loops. So for a funky bow for spring and summer, I might use 5, 6 loops. And for fall and Christmas, I might use 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the perfect intermediate bow when it comes to loop count. So I think we have, 3 on this side and 3 on the other side. Perfect. So it's not going to be super full. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take our wire. See, since we folded it in half, we're going to have a cut end and we're going to have a loop. We're going to take those wires, bring them through the loop, and just pull tight. Your dad likes the funky bow. Yes, he does, Joanne. That's his favorite bow. Then we're going to take our wires. It's not secured, but it's secured enough to walk away. So take those wires, pull them really tight, flip your bow over, and tie from behind. I like to give it 2 or 3 ties, just to really ensure that it's not going anywhere. Let's do one more for good luck. So at this point in time, I'm actually going to cut off the wire because I'm going to place this bow on my wall to show you guys how it looks. But you guys will see how it looks in Bowdabra's posts. They always share what the pictures, how the pictures turn out. So I usually just place it right on a command strip. You know, imagine having a whole wall of command strips with bows on it. We should do that, Alex.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
What do you guys think? Show of hearts. Should we? I think that would just be crazy. We should do it. Place a bunch of command strips on the walls and just place bows all over the walls. Imagine 100 of these. Well, not like this. Wait till we fluff it out. 100 of these all over your wall. So what I'm doing now is I'm dovetailing. I forgot to mention that. To dovetail, if you've never made a bow before, probably not the best example to show you because it is busy. But we're going to just take that tail, fold it in half, and cut from the middle out towards the wired edge. So from the middle out towards the wired edge at an angle, and look at how much better that looks. I know, again, polka dot might be a busy print to show you this, but we'll be showing you that within the next few bows we make. All right, a few more tails.
You're from? Oh, don't forget to say where you're from and that you want to win, because we're going to give away a free roll of our Bowdabra crunchy ribbon tonight.
Yeah, so if you want some free ribbon, all you have to do is just comment down below. Let us know where you're from. So now it's time to fluff. So, well, it's not. One more loop. One more tail, you guys. Dad always yells at me for that. One more tail. Now we can fluff. So it looks ugly at this point, right? So we're going to make this look a lot better than it does right now. So we're just going to take those tails, pull them out. If they're upside down, we're going to flip them so that the print is facing forward. We're going to open up those loops. This is all wired ribbon, you guys, so it holds its shape perfectly. And I definitely recommend it if you're working with, if you watch any of my videos and any of the wreaths or teardrop swags or anything that we really make, this is definitely the way to go. So wired ribbon. Fluff it out. And you can spend a whole day just fluffing your bows. And look at that. What do you guys think? Thank you for the round of applause. All right. Bow number 1. I think that looks great. And like I said, we can spend more time fluffing it. But I don't want to bore you guys, so let's switch gears. I see we're at over 100. Thank you, guys. Clean off our table, just blowing all that stuff towards Alex. So again, Bowdabra wire. We're going to just take a length. I think we're going to make our wreath bow next. So I'm going to cut the ribbon or the wire a little bit longer. Place it on the top of the Bowdabra. There we go. And I usually just tuck them underneath. Sandy, do you do that too?
Yep,
Just,
exactly.
Place your wires underneath. Yeah, so it just makes it so much easier to work with it. And as most of you guys know, by watching me use the Bowdabra, I do this a whole lot, right? So it makes it easier for me and keeps the wires from getting in the way. So now we're going to
Joette
use
actually
this
uses a lazy Susan.
Oh, very smart. We should try that.
I know, that is smart.
I don't even know where to get Amazon, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a lazy Susan. Just a plain burlap ribbon. So how many of you guys love burlap ribbon too? It's one of my favorites. And I've actually taken a little bit of a break from it, right? I feel like for a year and a half or 2 years, I would just use it in everything. So I'm not using it as much, but I wish I could because I love it. So we're going to start with some tails. We're just going to cut them however long that is. I like really long tails, so that's about 24 inches on each side. We're going to place that into the Bowdabra. A spice lazy Susan that holds the spices. That's a good idea too.
That is.
So now we're going to do a traditional bow. So for this bow, you're going to take your ribbon, place it into your Bowdabra. See what I'm doing here too is I'm leaving about ½ an inch of an overhang. If I took this ribbon and I placed it like that, and it comes time to fluff, no matter how tightly I secure that wire, there's still a little wiggle room, and that'll slide right out. So always leave at least ½ an inch overhang, and that'll just save you in the long run because you don't want your bow to fall apart. Hey Tom, watching from Maine, says Kimberly. So now it's time to make the loops. So this bow I'd say is a little bit more complex than the funky bow, but it's still very easy and beginner friendly. So we're creating a wreath, so I want my loops to be about 4½, 5 inches. Do the same thing, just continue rotating. Also too, what I'm doing, and I'll show you the next one. There's our next loop. I didn't really show you guys that. So here is where our next loop's going to be. I'm taking that ribbon and I'm pinching it and reversing it.
Joette uses a shelf organizer, lazy Susan.
Ooh, yeah, we'll definitely check into that. That'd be cool. Try something different. Knowing me, the lazy Susan's going to spin so fast it's going to fly off the table. So that's 2 loops, that's 3 loops. Let's add some more. So for a full traditional bow, I recommend 5 to 7. If we do 3 and 4 on one side, that creates a looser bow, but we're only adding one spray to this, a really pretty white kind of greenery spray. So I want this bow to really stand out and look really full. So definitely a lot of loops for today's wreath. So that is like 5. Let's do 1 or 2 more. Watching from Massachusetts, hey Cindy. Then I just cut off the ribbon and I'll just place that tail in. Again, doing the same thing, having 1/2 inch of an overhang to ensure that the bow doesn't fall apart. Ooh, you guys, you know what too? We just got in our very first ever patio set and I'm already thinking about it. And I think it would be really cool to have some lanterns out there. So maybe in a future Bowdabra video, we can show you guys how to make some lantern swags. How's that sound? First, we have to get some lanterns. We have the patio set, no lanterns yet. So same process, we're gonna tighten that bow, flip it over, and tie from behind. So don't forget to, you guys, both Bowdabra and Nick's Seasonal Decor have free crafting communities. So you can join the Bowdabra fan gallery and the Nick's Seasonal Decor crafting community. Tons of designers in those groups if you're looking for extra inspiration, and lots of the designers in those groups also use the Bowdabra. Hopefully I'm helping you work out the Bowdabra, but there's so many different ways to use your Bowdabra. So if my type of tutorials doesn't work for you, Sandy's will, right? Or countless other tutorials out there. So we're gonna just take our bow, place it onto our 18-inch grapevine, tighten it, bring that wire through the other side, and we're gonna tie it on. So over 120 of you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Max said, thank you for having Nick back. It's nice to be back.
We're happy to
Tie
have
it
you,
really, really
Nick.
tight.
Also, don't forget that we have over 700 how-to videos on our YouTube channel. So definitely check out YouTube at Bowdabra.
Yes, so here's how it looks. So grapevines are a little bit messy. If you're looking for that super duper clean type of craft, 2 things to avoid: grapevines and glitter, right? Especially glitter, because that will last a lifetime. So here, it looks like nothing special. So now it's time to fluff. So to fluff a traditional bow, it's a little bit different than a funky bow because we don't have any of those longer tails. So really what we got to focus on is spacing out the loops on the top portion of the bow evenly. It doesn't take much. Jesse said, glad you're back, Nick. Thank you, Jesse. It's nice to be back. All right. And I think that looks good enough to start working in some flowers. So see how those tails look a little funky? Just run your fingers through them and you'll get any of those creases out. I'll use my head. There's empty space. I'll use my head in the grapevine. So now it's time to work in some pretty flowers. Look at these, you guys. How pretty are those? So these are the white ones. I think these look great. This would work great as a wedding wreath. You can add a sign to this that's like wedding themed. I think it would work great year round. It's just white flowers and a burlap bow. Nothing crazy. So I brought 3 of these here, and I think that'll create a nice looking wreath. So all I'm doing is I'm just snipping the flowers down. So Velkus has her lanterns. She just needs ideas. So I'll be able to help you with that once I find some lanterns for me. I do have a bunch of lanterns, but I want like a set of 3 that are the same. Don't you think that'll look nice, Al?
Yeah, I think so.
So we have a red umbrella. We have no red pillows because they're out of stock. What else do we have? A red cart, a few red pots.
We have a rug.
A red
Did you
rug.
say that? A
I think it's
rug.
outside. Something's outside.
Something
the cart.
arrived
I think
today.
the cart arrived today. I went to get a grapevine, you guys, and I saw it. So maybe 3 red lanterns or 3 blue lanterns. But all I'm doing is I'm taking these, dipping them in my glue skillet, applying a generous amount of hot glue, and then just poking them right into the wreath. Hobby Lobby has a Lazy Susan with the flag on it. Very pretty, not marked down yet. Yes, so Philip, you definitely have to wait because Hobby Lobby will mark them down and save yourself a little bit of money.
And Hobby Lobby also has the Bowdabras.
Yes, they do. I think those where the deco mesh is? Yeah. And they're
Yeah.
in the seasonal department too. So at Christmas, they put them with the Christmas ribbons as well.
And at Christmas time, they actually have the mini Bowdabras too.
Oh, they do, yes. All right, so just working them all the way around, creating not a semicircle, but a full circle all the way around. We can also take a few of these flowers and poke them into the bow to soften it. You guys know I'm a huge fan of doing that. What do you guys think? Are you liking this so far?
Very pretty, Nick.
Thank you, Sandy. Very easy, above anything. I feel like grapevine and floral wreaths overwhelm a lot of people. Would you agree with that? A lot of people are intimidated by it, and for no reason. You can make it super complicated and complex and add a whole lot of things, but when you keep it simple like this, especially if you're a beginner or if you just want to break from having a busy design, work in one type of flower or even just greenery. This wreath would look beautiful with just greenery as well. And then just fill in with extra things if you want, or just use one product that we're doing today.
Joanne said you always make beautiful wreaths.
Thank you, Joanne. All right, so that is with 2 sprays. I think we need one more underneath. What do you think?
I think so too.
But you could, I didn't do it perfectly, but you could just create 2 like swags on either side and then keep nothing above and below. That is another technique. So if you ever feel uninspired, just switch out one thing or do something slightly different and you'll have a completely different looking wreath. So coming back in with our 3rd and final spray, you could also just pull them out like I'm doing here too instead of cut. Simple yet beautiful, exactly. So these stems are a little long. We're keeping these nice and close. We'll just trim these up a little bit. But we were in California a few weeks ago, and I didn't realize how close we were to Las Vegas. I think
Yeah.
it was only like a half-hour flight.
No,
So
it's very close.
if we had more time, Sandy, we would have came out and visited
I
you.
know.
You could have shown us all of the
Yeah,
cool spots in Nevada.
yeah, it's about a 4-hour drive. You'll just have to make a special trip here, Nick.
That's right, we definitely will. All right, a few more pieces, but we also have these little
Oh,
stragglers,
Beverly
see?
asked what we're winning. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Nick. She asked what you're
No
winning. It's
problem.
a roll of the Bowdabra scrunchy ribbon, which is a really
Yes.
unique ribbon. It's very crinkly, and you can make really cool scrunchy bows with it.
Hey, Carrie's from Mexico. And we didn't realize we were that close to Mexico either. We were
Yes,
half hour from
Tijuana.
Tijuana. So me and Alex do not have valid passports at the moment. We went to Greece many years ago, you guys, and they expire. So ours are like 10 years expired now. So we couldn't travel. All right.
Used to be you could
You
just
see
go
any
across the
gaps?
border with your driver's license, but not anymore.
Yeah, that used to be a thing in like Maine and New York too, with Canada.
Yep.
But I think they stopped that now too. All right, how's the bottom
Yeah,
look?
that's gorgeous, Nick.
Thank you. So I'll just that always gets me, you guys. That always gets me. All right, I'm not going to throw this greenery away, so we might as well work it in. So another thing too, for those of you that don't know when to stop with wreath making, in regards to how much product to add, is it enough, does it look nice? By just tucking in a little bit more greenery, if you're not thinking it's full enough, it really can do wonders. So just take a few of those extra leaves. You could toss them, you could save them for another project, or you can just place them around this wreath too. Okay, 2 pieces left. I'm looking at the wreath on the screen too to make sure I'm not missing anything. But I think that looks good.
Looks really pretty, Nick.
Thank you. So see how easy that
Oh, we
is, you
have our
guys? Look at
winner,
that. Ooh, who's our lucky winner?
Esmeralda Hill.
Congratulations. You just won yourself a free roll of scrunchie ribbon.
Congratulations. You can reach out to Bowdabra right here on Facebook. Send them a message and they will get that sent out right to you. Congratulations.
Yes, congrats. So every Monday that we're live, Bowdabra gives away a free roll of scrunchie ribbon, and I believe every time that Sandy's live too. She also
Yeah,
draws
we
for a
always
free
give
roll of
away.
scrunchie ribbon. So you can always win. All you have to do is just be here. All right, so
And
that
next
wreath
week,
is done.
cool.
There we go. And next week we will be live as well. So let's switch gears and make one more bow. I want to show you guys one more bow. Alex, need to step back for that one. So here is our Bowdabra. Oh, I just watched me load off on screen, but we're
Sorry.
going to take another length of our wire, snip it off, place it in the
So
middle of
who
the
cleans up the
Bowdabra.
floor after you, Nick?
Well, now that the carpet's gone, Sandy, it is a breeze, thankfully. But yeah, we'll come down here and
Freshen up.
clean and freshen up and move things, and you'll find things miles away, and you're like, where is that? And she's, I don't know. But here's the, should we do this one? I think
Yeah.
so. I think that's perfect for this time of year. So for this bow, we're going to start with the length of tails, place them into the Bowdabra. I already placed my wire in, and now place your ribbon, again, 1/2 inch overhang. Marilyn says, use the butterfly ribbon. You got it. So this is actually left over from a kit as well. This was a butterfly kit. And we actually worked in little butterflies. I'm looking at the wreath right now. It's polka dot too. So we're going to start with a few loops on each side. There's one. We'll do two. And try to keep these loops similar. I know I say you don't have to be perfect, and you definitely don't, but this bow has a lot less loops than that traditional bow. So having them similar size, it makes more sense that way. So now that we have our two loops, we're going to come back in with one more loop on each side, but notice that it's a little bit smaller. So it's only about 3.5 inches. Do the same thing to the other side. And then our final loop, the button loop. And this loop doesn't have to be big by any means. Take your wire, feed it through. There we go. Now we can tie it off. So again, take those wires, pull them from the front to the back, and tie it off 3 times. All right, now we'll cut those wires off. That way we can take some nice pictures of these bows, fluff it out.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook.
Pull the middle loop. Open your little button loop.
The nice thing with the button loop is it covers the wire.
It covers the wire, exactly. It hides it. And there, you have a pretty butterfly bow. So easy. So don't overcomplicate bow making. It does not have to be complicated. And look, these loops are off. And when you tuck in some greenery and some flowers, it's going to look great. So thank you guys so much for joining. We created this butterfly bow. We created this funky bow, which I'm sure is going to be a lot of people's favorite. It's probably my favorite. I see we have over 110 of you guys still watching. Thank you. And the middle project was, of course, our wreath. So thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to give a thumbs up and a share if you enjoyed this. It is so nice to be back. And we will see you
Nick,
all
thank you.
Monday
And Nick will be
7.
here. And Nick will be here next week.
Yes, next week. So thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you don't have a Bowdabra, get one. So thank you guys again, and I'll see you next week at 7.
Bye, everyone. Sorry about little Vivi's barking.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.